Guess who just woke up? Yeah, it's me, but I don't mind, I'm a content machine. So, today concludes my first week at the Montreal Fantasia Film Festival, and I wanted to do quick reviews of everything I saw. And the festival started very strongly with a short film called Meat Puppet. And I know most people kind of don't cover the short films at Fantasia, which is too bad because honestly, most of the time, they're more interesting than the feature films. Like Meat Puppet. It's the story of a man who is obsessed with action figures, so much so that he almost misses his graduation. At the graduation, his girlfriend is there and she calls him in anger. She basically tells him it's either me or your action figures, and he decides to go to the graduations. But not before receiving a package that he thinks is a Goku action figure. Which personally, I mean, a girlfriend is nice, but Goku is also very based. But that's not what's in the package, it's a puppet. A weird looking puppet with some satanic symbolism drawn on its body. Puts his hand in there and his spirit is transferred to the puppet. It's honestly pretty funny, and at 12 minutes it goes by super fast. It's one of the best horror comedy I've seen in a while, and it's clearly shot with like Arri Alexa cameras, so it looks like an actual big budgeted movie. The acting is great, the chemistry between the characters is also amazing, and I really like the concept. This is how you take a simple concept and you don't try to stretch it out, because honestly Full Moon would stretch this to a full 80-minute movie. But yeah, as far as shorts, this was the highlight for me. Really one of the best I've seen at any Fantasia film festivals. Sadly, as I said, this short film was better than the feature film that followed it. The Paragon is the next film I saw, which is a horror comedy from New Zealand. And I know just saying that gets you excited because, you know, that's where Peter Jackson is from and that's the genre he started in, but this is no Peter Jackson. It's more like Peter Dudson. And I was impressed by the fact that this film had such a low budget at $25,000, but then I remembered that I watch a lot of DIY filmmakers who can make a lot more better films with a lot less money. It is very ambitious because it's a tale of time traveling, parallel universes, and psychic powers. Basically, you get this guy who gets hit by a car, a pro tennis player in fact, and he can't walk anymore. He needs, you know, help to walk, basically ruining his life. His marriage is in shambles. But then he sees an ad for a psychic and some psychic training. So he wants to go there to enact his revenge on the person who hit him. It's an interesting concept. The comedy for me falls completely flat. The characters don't really work. It looks like they're trying too hard to be funny. The dialogue just seems very unnatural, and overall I got really bored a lot of the times, and I shouldn't be really bored at a horror comedy that's like 82 minutes long. Nothing really sticks out, and I think its worst crime is that it's pretty forgettable. But I will say that you can see every dollar on the screen because it seemed to have been utilized to make the film look, sound, and just feel better. The Paragon, it's a dud for me. Then I saw a short film called Bladdershy, and I will not go on to discuss Bladdershy because I will feel mean, but I will just say that it's one of the worst pieces of shits I've ever seen. Then we got Scared Shitless. Speaking of shit, one of my favorites, and probably my favorite modern film from the festival. I'm gonna call it right now, I don't think anything can top this. It has Stephen Hogg, it has special effects by Steven Kosinski, who obviously is from the Astron 6 group. More recently, he directed his own movies with The Void, which is Magnifico, and yeah, the effects in this are the highlight of the film. Well, one of the highlights, because the film as a whole is great. You follow these two characters, a dad and son combo, the dad played by Stephen Hogg, and his son, who is this germaphobe, very picky, with stomach issues, you know, very anxious guy. One day at dinner, Stephen announces to his son that he wants him to join him in his plumbing business, which obviously the son freaks out because toilets and plumbing is full of germs and disgusting stuff. But he wants to beat his fear, so he accepts, and they go to their jobs in a building for this old lady who's having toilet issues. But what starts with a regular toilet call turns into a nightmare as this scientist who lives in the building brings back one of his creation, which is this monster that goes around in the plumbing system of the apartment building and kills the residents. To say that this movie is hilarious would be an understatement, because I almost pissed myself every 5 minutes. It's a lot of potty humor and bad puns, but the way the characters are, they're so gosh darn charming that you can't do anything but love them. Even the building attendant lady who doesn't want to call the police because they want to sell the building because her family is in debt, even she turns out to be very likable. Not at first, but you know, that's just good writing. You learn to love her as you discover why she does what she does. Stephen Ogg is obviously a great actor, and he does a perfect performance in this as this dad joke spewing funny guy. You know how a lot of movies try to make the dad kind of the bad character, but in this it just is filled with love and charm. The creature effects and the gore obviously are amazing. It's the goddamn dude who did the effects for Astron 6, The Void, Psycho Gorman. At this point, he's probably Canada's best special effects creator and creature maker, so amazing once again. Finally, I watched a Yakuza movie, which I was pretty excited about because Fantasia has an excellent selection of Asian films every year, and that is Tatsumi, I think. Anyways, it's something, it's a name in Japanese, and it was pretty damn good. It was quite the different film than Scared Shitless. Obviously, Scared Shitless is a horror gore comedy, and this is a drama about human beings, more specifically Yakuzas. It was quite a change of pace, but I really enjoyed this one. I feel like it was one of the better written out of the 3 films that I've seen, just as in the story was way more developed, way more complex. The characters were way more complex because this is a Japanese film. It's a lot of dialogue, a lot of storytelling, a lot of visceral close-up violence, which I always appreciate. It makes the violence way more personal and disturbing when it's more visceral. Yeah, it's a really good Yakuza movie. Is it the best Yakuza movie that I've ever seen? Absolutely not, but it's really damn good. We follow Tatsumi, who's this low-level criminal. He's kind of what you call a cleaner. He takes care of corpses whenever the Yakuza kills somebody. But then he gets stuck in a conflict between the family that he works for and a little girl whose sister and sister's boyfriend gets killed by that family as she wants to take revenge. Then the film turns into a road movie where you follow both characters trying to make sense of everything that's going on and trying to take their revenge, or, you know, try to make it work. To me, their relationship is very endearing. It's like a brother-sister, which makes sense because Tatsumi feels that he needs to help this young girl because he lost his brother to a drug addiction. And a criticism that I heard a lot from a friend of mine and a lot on Letterboxd is that the characters are unlikable, which, yeah, they aren't the most likable people, but they're gang members and criminals and low-life crooks. They're not supposed to be likable, and movies don't always have likable characters. I especially like movies who have very dislikable characters, because that's how you know a script is good, is when it makes you care for unlikable characters, which I felt this film did great. So yeah, Tatsumi I would also recommend. I don't know if it'll ever come out on physical media, at least not in North America, maybe in the UK through Third Window, hopefully, because I really like this. So that was my first week at the Fantasia Film Festival, and now I got to edit this video and post it tonight.